Here we go, page 3, saving the best for last. We are continuing with these proofs. Now, this next one, slightly different from the last one. So, on like the last couple, we were trying to show that two angles were congruent. So we'd say like angle 1 is congruent to angle 3, or we try to show angle 1 is congruent to angle 10. Now, on this one, slightly different because we're trying to show that two angles are supplementary. The two angles add up to 180 degrees. All right, so what we're going to prove is just totally different from the last one. So we really have to be careful when we are reading through these and making sure that we are trying to, prove what they're asking for, not trying to prove something else. All right, I don't want to show that two angles are congruent as my end result. I want to show that two angles are supplementary. All right, so in this one here, step 1 is our givens. So we know A is parallel to B. And we know that B is parallel to C. All right, so I'm going to mark that down. All right, a little bit more obvious, right? I know those arrows are already there, but it's never a bad idea to just kind of make it more obvious for the reader to make them easier to see, make them bigger, I guess. All right, so what I would recommend doing here is starting with two angles we know for certain are supplementary. So what I mean by that is pick any pair that you know for sure are supplementary. Um, like this, I'm going to go with angle 1 and angle 2. Why do we know angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary? Well, they are a linear pair. Right? So what we can say is we can say angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180 degrees. Right? And again, we know that because they are a linear pair. All right. So now from here, we have
Essentially a sophomore, last names
picture
A
day,
through
guys. All
D,
right.
sophomores A through D to the theater for pictures.
We are trying to show that angle 2 and angle 5 are supplementary. So we know angle 1 plus angle 2 is supplementary. So what we have is angle 1 plus angle 2 is supplementary. What we need to do is we need to connect angle 1 with angle 5, right? So what we're going to have to do is kind of jump from angle 1 to angle 3 and then angle 3 to angle 5. That's going to be kind of our strategy here. So step 3, I'm going to say, all right, angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. And we need to mention why we know that. Why is angle 1 congruent to angle 3? They are corresponding angles. All right. So I'm going to use that same exact line of reasoning on step 4. All right. I'm going to jump from angle 3 now down to angle 5. So angle 3 is congruent to angle 5. All right. And again, we are going to say that because those are also corresponding angles. All right. So let's scroll down a little bit. Here is where we are. We said angle 1 equals angle 3, angle 3 equals angle 5. All right. So our next step is to tie these together. Angle 1 equals angle 5. All right. How can we do that? We can do that through the transitive property. All right. So I'm going to say angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. And of course, that is transitive. Okay. Now, step 6 is actually going to be our last step here. Now, in step number 2, we said angle 1 plus angle 2 was equal to 180 degrees. All right. But I know that angle 1 is the same thing as angle 5. All right, so I don't want to say angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180 degrees. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute out and say angle 5 plus angle 2 equals 180 degrees. All right, this is the use of that substitution property. And if you look, that is exactly what we were trying to show. They said angle 2 plus angle 5 equals 180 degrees. All right. I guess if I really wanted to be picky, I could, rewrite these like this, equals 180. All right. That would, I don't really know what property that would be. That's really the commutative property of addition, right? But we're allowed to switch those as is. So I'm just going to leave it like this. Angle 5 plus angle 2 equals 180 degrees, right? That is probably the most complicated one that we've seen so far. But keep in mind, how did we do this? We started with two angles that we know are supplementary, angle 1 and angle 2. Those are supplementary because they are a linear pair. And then what we did is we picked one of those angles and we connected it to angle 5, right? So we can substitute it out at the end, all right? So that's what I would recommend doing, do on a problem like this, all right? And again, 13 different ways we could probably do this problem. I went from angle 1 to angle 3, then angle 3 to angle 5. If we wanted to, you could have gone from angle 1 to angle 8 using vertical angles, angle 8 to angle 3 using alternate interior angles, then angle 3 to angle 5 using corresponding angles, and then connect it all through the transitive property, right? That would absolutely get you there. It's just one extra step. All right, so on this proof, the way that we did it written here, I think is the fewest number of steps that we could do this problem without using alternate or without using same side interior, same side exterior kind of angles. All right, and that one's done. So we got one more proof here, and then we will be done. All right, so first things first, write down your statements. Write down your reasons. Make a T-chart, make it nice and pretty, and let's label our steps. Step 1 here. All right, now there's two pieces of given information here. We know line ST is parallel to line QR. All right. We also get for free that angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. All right. All of that stuff is given. Step 2. Where do we go from here? Look at the picture. Let's just kind of identify stuff. Parallel lines, angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. All right, that's all of our given information. We have to kind of figure out what can we do from here. This is where we have to use clues in the picture. We have these two parallel lines. We have it cut by this transversal. So if you look at angle 1 and angle 2, those are corresponding angles. So that would be a good next step for us to consider. All right, so I'm going to say angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 because they are corresponding angles. All right, now let's just kind of look at this. We were given angle 1 equals angle 3. All right, what we just showed is that angle 1 is equal to angle 2. So the very next step is just tie these two together using the transitive property. Right? And this one is actually a pretty short proof. Right? We can go straight for the kill now and say angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. Right? That is, again, the use of the transitive property. We use that all the time. And that proof is done, right? We are trying to show that angle 2 is congruent to angle 3, and that's exactly what we did. All right, so we had to use the idea of corresponding angles with those parallel lines. All right, so that was section 2.4. All right, again, sorry I couldn't be here for it, so hopefully this video you know, is good enough to kind of get you started. If you guys have any questions, we can go over that the next time I see you in class. All right, but there we go. Have a good day.